Good evening, everybody. We're a little earlier than normal. We are here around 7:10. Had some technical difficulties. My name's Caleb. Good to have you all tonight. Catherine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Introduce yourself.
I'm reading all these comments. They look great. Everybody's piping in from like where they're from. We've got Tim. Hello, Tim. And April's over in South Carolina. How is it out there? I wonder what the weather's. It's probably not as bad as it's all these winter storms that have been happening on the West Coast. Gene, how's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for joining us. We have an interesting convo planned for this evening and lots of cool new updates for you guys.
Lots of pollen, says April. So sorry about that. I love that it feels like we certainly span the states. I know our group very early on. Someone we were mentioning, okay, when should we do these live streams? And the majority said 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then somebody came through and I think they were like 9 a.m. like is the best for them. And I was like, where do you live? And they said Switzerland. I was like, oh, okay, well, cool to have some folks tuning in from Switzerland. From Central Florida. Elias, good to have you on, brother. I appreciate having you in. So we're super pumped. Tonight we're going to be announcing some rewards officially that we're going to be adding to our fundraising campaign. So I think just from first look, it really feels like we've got a ton of people who are super excited to just support and just basic generosity kind of help us try to get this project up off the ground. And it has been wonderful to see and to hear all the support from folks and get those donations already and folks that gave without any kind of a reward metric. Now, that being said, I think we want to kind of officially announce what we're going to be doing moving forward and certainly let folks know as well that this is going to be a retroactive thing too. So if you've given, you're still you're going to get the rewards for the donations. And that is just our way of saying that, we want to bless everybody who has blessed us, kind of just as a partnership, I think is the term that we use, Kyler and I, quite often. And I sent those rewards over to Catherine, and Catherine and Kyler and I have been working on it this last week to try and come up with some decent ideas. But we don't know. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if there's other things that maybe you're thinking that could be beneficial or helpful. The most important part of this is I think we want to really create a community dynamic and a group dynamic. And you're seeing that a little bit with the Facebook group that we've developed, where we're talking to each other. We're giving each other sort of ideas and thoughts on how we can move this forward. So, Catherine, what are your sort of initial feelings, kind of seeing the group and kind of seeing this in these first couple of weeks as it's kind of started? What are you thinking?
Oh my gosh, it's just been so cool to get to know everybody who's interested in this, and just the network has own personal lives. People are reaching out directly to us, and on social media just have been popping in. So it's just really cool to get to meet all of the people who are interested. So that's been like the most fun part for me. And also, I was just curious, how can you explain and share this for people who maybe haven't joined yet and maybe need a little reminder?
Yes, absolutely. April just shared the Give Butter campaign, but I will go there on I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. So let's look at it together. So if you go to the givebutter.com/David A King's Calling, you're going to see this is sort of our fundraising page. There's lots of different kinds of fundraising platforms. You've got Kickstarter, Indiegogo. There are a number of different platforms. And, this one, I think, just by doing general research, we found they take less percentage of the overall donation, which is huge for us, especially as we're just getting started. As well as I think it's pretty user friendly. Now, if we do this together, you go there. If you're there, why don't you give us a like in the comments section? So I'll wait till I get a couple of thumbs ups to let us know that people have journeyed over to the Give Butter platform. And thank you, April, for sharing that URL. That's very helpful. I think
Yeah.
some folks are probably moving in that direction. You can kind of see we got a video up top. You've got the donate button. If you click the donate button, it doesn't automatically take money out of an account somewhere. There's a process. So you go through, you click donate. It's going to show you, okay, you got different options. You know, whatever you want to give based off of what you can give, we're greatly appreciative. As Kyler and Catherine and Steve did such a wonderful job last time mentioning, you know, this is going to be a sort of a limited time that we're going to be doing this, but we're super grateful for $5. We're super grateful for $50, 100, 1,000, whatever you can give. And so that's, you can click that, you kind of go to continue here, and then you can kind of leave us a message or a photo or something. And that's what you're seeing over here on the side of the giving platform, which I think is really nice. Just folks kind of telling us what they support about it, what they're interested in, those kinds of things. Yep. And so we've added more information. So if you go to the Give Butter platform, you're going to see a little bit more information about who we are, just some important notes, what we're trying to do, where we're at in the process, just a little bit of like, okay, what's this going to be like? So we've shown our really high contrast intro, which I'd be more than happy to play again here, just right off the start, which is definitely stylistically what we're looking for, what we want to accomplish with the project. But, you know, we do want this to also have a light and fun, and the family's out on the hillside and they're cooking together and they're doing chores and those kinds of things. And so, you know, but a lot of what we're showing is sort of our concept art that shows the kind of unique perspective about this project. And certainly, Catherine, you know, I know when we first started talking, you were like, that's different. It's a different visual, right? So how would you explain that if you try and explain?
Yeah, I remember when I was seeing the first iterations of, I actually think for me stylistically, I was really shocked just by the artistic style and Billman. And so that was like just a nice intro to the uniqueness of you guys are coming to create the artistic vision for this particular project. Because I know in the faith-based media, a lot of people will just sort of focus on like the greatness of, but I think what's also supremely important is just to remind people like the world is a scary place, and that's that struggle of like finding your relationship with God through what you're really is really intense. And that's, I think, what you guys have really started to hone in on is like, and I think that's just going to be like a really cool edge in this project.
Yeah, I think we're going for something that's a little bit edgier, something that is maybe a little more contemporary or modern whenever you look at a biblical story. I think we want to have these different musical elements that bring it to kind of modernize it a tad bit. Now, we're not going to modernize the story. We're not going to have him walking around in a tuxedo or nothing like that. But I think that there are these kind of elements that we can use to bring it to current day a little bit so that people feel like it's very easy to understand these people. We want to make it historical. We want to make it biblically accurate. There's a lot actually in the story of David. Kyler and I have spent hours and hours talking about the things we don't know. The people we don't know. We know that he had at least 2 sisters. The Bible kind of speaks about him a little bit. We know that he had this wonderful, powerful mother figure, which we're going to be bringing our actress Gigi in just a little bit. And that's Gigi Orcio as Nitzevet at the top in the concept art. What do you think about this concept art thing? I mean, it's a little different, isn't it? To like kind of see yourself sort of already in like in art form and concept art. Like normally you'd have to wait months and months. You'd have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this kind of a thing. And I remember I sent this photo out to Steve Sherman, who's going to be playing the prophet Samuel for us, and his first
Yeah.
reaction was like, "Oh, whoa, okay," like, you know, it kind of caught him by surprise a little bit.
Right. Well, I didn't even realize that you guys, until you had told me that you had plugged my face, because I was like, that to me, like, and I'm sure Steve went through this too. We're like, that doesn't look like, but I'm sure
Right.
when you're not the person, it's like, oh yeah, I could see that. That
Yeah,
makes
you can
sense.
there are some ways that you can get it close, and then you start to play with, like, here, you know, there's this scene, and what we're seeing with your character, same, says Gigi.
Same. Gigi's like, that's not me.
Oh, well, you guys, it really, it's about just kind of trying to show this overall feeling and vibe of the art. And I know I've heard a lot of great stuff on Steve's, but and it's not 100% for sure. It's not exactly you. It's more just kind of like, you know, if you allow yourself to just imagine a little bit, you can kind of see the moments with these characters. And for this character, you know, with your character here, we have her speaking with her husband, Eliab, in a tent, and she's trying to essentially encourage him to be patient and kind. Welcome, Kyler, joining us right off the top. Appreciate
Hey,
having
everybody.
you
Hello.
a part of things. And so I'm going to say it. The first 10 minutes of this live stream was way better than last week's, when you had like 50 people watching and thousands of dollars given. We are trending in the right direction. So it's good to have you, man. We're talking about the concept art on the Get Butter page a little bit.
Can I say something, Caleb, a little bit about something that just happened that I think people might be interested in? I can't
Why
give.
were you late? Why were you late to
All
the
right,
live
so
stream?
here
tell
I
the
am.
people.
So first of all, I was having technical difficulties, and that was why we were running late to begin with, right? My computer was messing up. Everything was. See, I'll take one for the team there. I'll say that. No, I got a call almost immediately as we were coming in from someone in the industry that is very excited about our project and wanted to hear a little bit more about our story, and wants to have conversations moving forward about possibly mentoring us and a path forward that they see for David to get off the ground. And so it's not a guarantee that this is the thing that moves towards us doing it, but does seem like Jesus is doing things. There are things happening. And so where this felt very much 2.5 weeks ago, like we're just trying to be faithful to Jesus and we don't know where this is going to go, it's really starting to be interesting. There are people contacting us, people emailing us, people, I think, really trying to build out their distribution platforms. And what do they need? They need talented, hey, what's going on, Tim? They need talented filmmakers. They need talented actors. They need great scripts. They need people that want to show the light of God in all that they do and to make quality stuff. And I think that's us. So I did not mean to distract us, but we may have some really great news here in the next couple of weeks. We'll see.
Well, and I mean, if I'm just jumping on top of that, I think this last week has been, in a lot of ways, pretty surreal. Just several people reaching out that want to know more, want to be a part of it, and for us, I think, you know, we feel like we have this story that has major power, and it really does, I think, have a global impact. Obviously, the biblical story of David is very intense. It's beautiful. It's an epic. It has a romance. It has tragedy. You know, but focusing in on this early David as he's coming up and becoming anointed by the prophet Samuel, and, you know, using really high contrast imagery, a little bit of the supernatural. We're seeing into this dream world. What do you think, Kyler? How cool, brings it to life. That's awesome, Sarah. I'm glad to hear that. That's kind of the goal there. It's not supposed to be like you're looking at Catherine 2 feet away from her, which, you know, it's a fake Catherine. We can all agree it's not the real thing. But you know, yeah, you haven't had crab in a long time. Fake crab is really good. You know, you put that on a sandwich. It's imitation crab for sure. Once we get Catherine in costume out in central Pennsylvania on the hillside, everybody's going to love it.
That's right.
But why don't we, Kyler? You want to show the kind of short trailer just right off the bat, then we'll jump back into Give Butter, kind of talk a little bit more about the rewards now that you're here.
Sounds great. Thank you for waiting on me, guys. Appreciate
No
it.
problem at all. We're going to watch the short teaser trailer, and then we'll jump back in, talk a little bit about the rewards. If you guys get the chance, share this to your Facebook streams. Let people know that we've started the live stream. Really helps out to get this in front of as many people as possible.
Speak, Lord. Старайтесь весело. Who is he? Who is the one to come?
All right, back over. We're sharing the Give Butter campaign over here. So we're getting ready to jump into the rewards, and we're super excited to announce these. And we would love to hear your feedback in the comments. So if you go all the way down, we go past Meet the Team. We come down to the bottom. We've got fundraising rewards. So I do want to make a general statement. All rewards compound. So if you give $250, you get the $100, you get the 0 through 99. So everything is sort of cascades, right? And so we're just going to jump right in. Kyler, do you want to sort of front load this at all, or am I okay to just get started?
I think here's the heart of why we're doing this. Some people might say, man, there's tons of people out there that want to support you guys. There's nothing that you guys need to do except for tell an excellent story. I think fundamentally that could be the relationship here, where Caleb and I come out and we go, help us, and we're going to come back with a story about King David that blows your mind. But my brother and I love that as you all are being generous, that we can find some way inside of this system to be generous to you also. This should be a circular process, whereas my brother and I are creating, there's some kind of reward in it for everyone that wants to partner with us and wants to be a part of this. And I wish, honestly, we could have every single person on set in costume and be a part of this with us and get to experience it live, especially, whenever you're there and the cameras are rolling and the crew's going and you have the actors on set. Some of them are nervous. Some of them are just titans and they're getting ready. And you have this kind of electricity there. It's very exciting. We want to make that available to everyone, but the unfortunate truth is that we can't, because the very nature of filming this in State College, Pennsylvania, means that it would be very expensive to fly everyone out and to pay for hotel rooms. So we're trying to find a way to be able to create this dynamic where it can be circular and we can support you all. And that being said, Kev, you want to walk through the tier system with them?
Yep, absolutely. So tier number one, we call it the blessing tier, because that's exactly what it is. Many of you, you're giving $0 to $99, $25 donations, $50 donations. Man, like, we could not do this project if it were not for those blessings that were being given. And we just want to extend a deep gratitude and a thank you to you. We'll be sending you a message, probably via email, just to thank you for your donation, for your encouragement that you're going to leave. You can leave there on the side. And we can't do this without the folks that are able to give $5, $10. That's where we're at. We're working our way towards being able to kind of create new kinds of partnerships that would allow us to move forward with projects quicker. But right now, we're really trying to build this sort of audience. And you are our audience. And if you can give $5, that's all we could ask.
Yeah. And I want to say something on that, Caleb.
Yep.
There's a beautiful image in the New Testament of Jesus watching this old woman come, and she lays down 2 mites, which is just a quarter of a penny. And Jesus comments on her, how her heart is so beautiful because she's giving not out of excess, but out of want. She's giving out of what she has. And so it means more to us that some of you would be giving $5, honestly, than it does for a billionaire to just pay for all of this and for it to mean nothing. Because that $5 is coming with your prayers, it's coming with your blessing, it's coming with you thinking about this project, you sharing this project, and that honestly, this isn't just like a gimmick. It honestly means so much to us to see those $5 donations come in. Every single time I see those, I'm just overwhelmed with thankfulness because I know where that's coming from. I know it's coming from people that are trying to help with what they have. And I think Jesus sees that as well.
Yeah. And I think too, just understanding, we're in a very unique position to create Christian art made by Christians and doing it in an excellent way where, we're not having to wait on, maybe it's a major network to produce a show and maybe they have good intent, maybe they don't. This is coming from, I think, a pure heart and a desire to kind of move forward. So let's keep it moving. We got the $100 faithful tier, and this is kind of funny based off the conversation to this point. So our average donation right now was trending at around $100. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to give you a one-of-a-kind digital art piece. And so we're going to be building out hundreds, thousands of these individual, unique kind of digital graphics that are built in the world of our concept art for David a King's Calling. And so you'll be able to select from a couple of different options. We'll be putting the logo on it. You can put it as a profile photo on your cell phone. You can print it out, put it on your wall just to kind of remember and be praying about the project. And really that is, this is the only time we're going to be doing this. This unique art is definitely going to be something that is, I think, looked at later on and people are gonna be like, that's interesting. That's cool. I love that it was made. And that's going to help build out the world. And it's also going to give you kind of a unique piece of what we're doing.
Yep.
The $250 shepherd tier, we're calling it that because we're literally going to get you an authentic leather and twine shepherd string. And I want to make sure that I say this too. Any giants killed after the successful delivery of this sling, it's not on us. You gotta, your local jurisdiction and court will probably have to handle whatever comes next. You might be made king or queen of your local province. So that's not a promise.
Unless it's a Nephilim, you can kill those guys.
Yeah, well, right. If you find one.
Those are hard to find these days. The Nephilim are hard to find.
But
Caleb,
don't go after the tall people either.
That's one of the funny things about the shepherd's tier, if I can say this real quick. My brother learned how to make those slings as a part of actually before leading into our short film. We had one as an Easter egg on set in the background to show that our next project was going to be moving into David a King's Calling. And so kind of a fun little Easter egg. Maybe you can go back and try to find that sling in the short film. But we had my brother just kind of getting into the world, made one of these slings. So he's kind of he's a guy, and I love leatherworking. So between the two of us, we're going to make this work. The next step
another thing, we're going to be getting some graphics up very soon so you can kind of see what these things look like. We just wanted to get the text out so you can kind of get a general idea. We're going to be posting that as soon as possible.
The next up is the family tier. And so you're going to have early access to watch the film. We're going to have this in a place where you're getting early access to be able to see versions of the trailers as they're coming out, to be able to watch some of the B-reel footage, the background, what's happening before it's edited. So you can kind of see this world come together. And then you're going to be able to watch only the people that donate $500 and over are going to get to watch the live cast read for the first episode. And we're going to have our cast together and going to be doing a table read so you can kind of get a feel for the world and what's taking place. And then lastly, we have the Dreammaker tier. And it's introducing our fundraiser support feature, Dreammaker. With Dreammaker, like you, we are one step closer to making our dream a reality. We believe this project has the potential to transform lives all over the world. By becoming a Dreammaker supporter, you will be helping us achieve our goal to create a brighter future. This donation will a special credit at the end of the production that will list you as one of our dream makers that made this production happen. So you will show up actually in the credits after the pilot episode of our film is made, which is something that we're very excited about. And we are working on building on these. And so if you all have some great ideas, I know Steve shared some last week, which were incredible ideas. If you all have good ideas, please feel free to share them with us because we are trying to be generous as we can.
It's great. Good deal.
That was awesome. Thanks for walking us through that, you guys. I'm liking see the break.
Yeah, it seems like people are liking some of what they're seeing, and so yeah, kind of mull that over, share that out, make sure people are aware. If you've already given, these things are going to be coming to you, and so we'll be building out, more communications, letting you know whenever we're going to be sending that stuff.
Wonderful. Well, Caleb, do you mind if I kind of segue us? Do we have the mother of David in the wings?
I don't think so.
Oh, she's not been able to jump on yet. I know that she said, let me look here.
Yeah, I know she had a prior commitment, so she's just going to try to join when she gets finished.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited.
We were going to be talking with Gigi tonight. And oh, she's here. She's just waiting to get on. I'm going to send her that link, Caleb. And maybe you guys can talk a little bit about Nitzevet and then
yeah.
we'll lead right
yeah,
in.
I think we're very excited about this role specifically because it's kind of that white space that we've been talking about. It's a character that we know really led to so much strength and power and authority that David would later have. And also we know that this character, I think, played a huge part in the family unit as it pertained to David, his brothers, his father, Jesse. And so, for me, I think that the loving tenderness, the ability to also be strong and bold and kind of powerful, these are elements that are not easy to find, especially whenever you've not had anything to see this character in the past. It feels like it's a relatively unknown character, right? Like, have you ever seen Nitzevet played in any roles in film or television, Catherine?
I have not, to my knowledge, so this is a pretty cool experience.
So she's definitely going to be kind of this wild card where I think when people look at her, they're going to see this kind of authority, this character that brings a ton of strength and goodwill. And also, we have a very specific story arc for this character that kind of shows that as we posted out for this live stream, she is a foil for what we see so many times in the Bible as women are called to give up their babies to essentially be used by God to do big things.
Yeah.
And Kyler, you want to walk us through that a little bit?
Absolutely. I think whenever you look at the mother of David, you see very, very striking similarities to what Mary is going to have to do in the New Testament. And one of the things that I love about the Old Testament is there's so many elements that foreshadow the coming Christ. My brother and I want to be very, very sure that as you see David and you see the elements of what he's doing, that it is projecting forward to the life of Christ coming. Because we believe that that's the whole intent of the Old Testament, is to foreshadow, this person that's coming, and it's wonderful because we have another storyline playing out where you see Hannah is coming to the temple to give her son, who she said she's going to give if God opens her womb, and that ends up being Samuel. And so it's this awesome kind of plurality. It's a parallel playing out in those stories. That's going to be really fascinating. But one of the really wonderful things about Nitzevet as a character, I think, is that she's not going to be probably like everyone expects. I think a lot of times whenever you have this idea of sort of women during this era thousands of years ago, that it was that they were kind of like very sort of reclusive and always inside. And certainly the majority of the work would have been kind of tending to the inside of the home. But she is an adventurer. She's a wanderer. She wants to get out. She wants to enjoy those things. And so that's something that I'm really excited about.
Let's play our video of David. We got kind of a teaser we did of a photo of a model that's presenting the character David. Kind of sets the tone a little bit of what this world's going to look like. So again, we're starting off the first episode and we're really jumping right into kind of this epic fantasy world where we're entering right into one of the prophet's dreams. And this is a dream that God is giving him, and he's revealing to him that he's chosen a boy from the sons of Jesse, and he's saying, go to him. I want you to anoint him the next king of Israel. And there's kind of this battle taking place where, the prophet's saying, oh, I love him. I don't want to, like, oh, this could be tough. Like, he's going to try and kill me. And God, is it, like, very few times in the Bible, I thought this was very interesting. So very few times in the Bible does God ever like tell someone to kind of conceal or hide themselves in what they're doing as following God, right? But he tells him specifically, like, pretend you're going to sacrifice this bull and, take this with you. And, Samuel's like, okay, like, let's hope I don't get killed here because, Saul's kind of a madman. And we'll be talking more about Saul coming up in a couple of the live streams in the future. We haven't spoken much about this guy, but I think he's going to be a pretty interesting character as well, where, he's kind of unhinged. He's moved out of God's design and purpose for what this king is supposed to look like. God's withdrawn his anointing. And I think that there's going to be some really powerful scenes between him and David as well. So, Kyler, what's your thoughts on, like, the character of Saul and what we're trying to do by presenting him sort of on the fringes early on, and then we start to see him in his decrepit state as the episodes go? Because just a general update, you're working on episode 4. We're moving forwards. We've gotten some donations on this first project, but we truly believe enough to spend the time to be writing 60, 70 page episodes at this point.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I think. I think we have the tendency to vilify biblical villains and to romanticize or imagine ourselves in the place of the heroes, which is, it's a really unfortunate thing to do, because I think Saul is just as much us as David is. And really one of the things that I really hope to do is to humanize Saul. He does make some awful choices. He's rejected by God. And I think it's really important that we don't look at this character and just go, oh, he's a bad guy. I think it's really important that we see moments of ourselves in Saul and go, oh my goodness, we could be Saul. We could be that person that maybe success and victory and attention and popularity and celebrity happened before it was supposed to, and it ruins him. It ruins him from the inside out. And there's a really beautiful scene that is written. I won't give too much detail because I don't want to spoil it. But there's a moment where David comes, here's the spoiler, to play a harp for Saul. And we get to see this moment where, oh man, I'm getting emotional even thinking about it. I'm not going to cry on live stream again. There's this moment where the things that are troubling Saul passes away and he feels God again after years of being apart. And it's a beautiful moment because it's Saul feeling a sense of repentance in the beautiful worship of David and a right honoring of God. but it's also a heartbreaking moment because you know the second David stops, it's going to release, and that Saul's going to fall back into his earlier state. And so it's a really powerful scene. I draw a lot on some different scenes from some different movies and things like that that have been powerful to me and inspiring to me. And I really think you're going to walk away at the end of this series. You're not going to hate Goliath as much as you think you will. You're not going to relish in Saul's pain as much as you think you will. And you're not going to feel, to speak to the idea of Nitzevet, you're not going to feel like, man, let's go, David, straight to kingship. This is exciting because to one person at least, David's raising up the hierarchy is a releasing of a child and of the baby of her family.
So we do have Gigi now. So
wonderful. Let's go. Let's hear it in the chat. If you're excited to see Gigi, let her know as we pull her in. We have some wonderful questions teed up.
Mother of David.
There
Hi,
we
guys.
are. Hey, Gigi.
Sorry, I also had technical difficulties.
It was a nice
Well,
work.
Satan can't win that easy. He's going to have to
Yeah.
work a lot harder than that.
That's right.
Good to have you, Gigi. Good to
Oh my
have
goodness.
you.
It's so great to be here. I'm so excited for this project. And it was so fun to see all of the incentives. You guys
Yes.
thought of such fun things.
Yeah.
And
thank you
I
so
think
much.
it's just starting. I think we're going to be working on that and continuing to develop that. Like I said, it's just the beginning, and we're trying to create a unique campaign, a unique fundraising campaign that really does engage our audience a little more than just, us getting on a live stream and kind of talking. We can't move forward without the donations we need for the project, but we also know like building an audience is a huge part of our next steps as artists. I mean, the ability for you all to have a project to work on is wonderful. And another outlet for faith-based, I think, media to be made is huge. And, you're coming from a background, gosh, you've been in some pretty large projects over these last couple of years.
Yeah, been
and
so blessed.
We're so lucky to have you on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of your experience first meeting us and reading for the part of Nitzevet? We'd love to hear you talk about that.
Yeah. Well, my agent, had told me that Steve was connected to the project, and I was like, I think he's amazing, and so if he's put his stamp of approval on it, it must be good. And so I first had a conversation with these guys. We had bad internet connection, technical difficulties again, and but it was just so fun to hear the vision that God has placed in your hearts. And I remember just thinking when I got off that call, I had like goosebumps just with this desire to be part of the project. It's one of those things that you kind of, I think I told you, it's one of those roles that you just pray that someday you'll get to have a role with depth like this and with a story like this and with such creative minds behind it and creative storytelling to tell it and just such great writing. I mean, it's all these pieces that are there before even it starts. I know it started a long time ago, but before even filming starts, the pieces are all right there. And so I just was so overwhelmed with excitement and passion to want to be a part of it. And so when you guys sent me the short film that you had done, I was like, okay, yes, I really see where they're going with this, and I know you did that on a really small budget. And I thought, gosh, I pray that somebody will believe in these guys and catch their vision. So, and then we did that callback, and I read a monologue for you guys, and we did it a few times, and just the feedback that you guys gave, I was so excited hearing the way that you guys direct. It's unique, and you have such detail in the way that you want the story told. And so I love that. I think God is in the details, and I
Yeah.
think that you guys are paying attention to that. So
Man, what a blessing to hear that. I know one of the really amazing things that we felt in the midst of that audition was I came into it knowing I really want this kind of edginess on a lot of the characters. I want there to be this kind of, because with David, he understands beauty, he understands poetry, he understands all of these different elements, and yet at the same time, at any moment, he can pick up a sling or a dagger and he can go to work. And I
yeah.
thought, oh, fun. Everyone just thinks that comes from Jesse, but what if there's this? What if there's like this dangerous
What
side
did his
to
mom would
mom?
tell him? Yeah.
Yeah. What if there's this dangerous side to mom? And so we've been layering in these elements where you go, wow, bravery doesn't have to be something in a masculine genetic. It can come from the mom side too. And its evidence very much. I won't reveal a whole lot about Nitzevet's story arc, but I will say that there are some really powerful things that play out throughout the story. And I'm not just saying this like about every character. I really want every character to have their moment in the sun where you go. And with Nitzevet's character, I'm honestly getting chills right now, even just thinking about it. There's a moment towards the end where you start to realize, oh, something else has been going on this whole time. And she's been too strong and too brave for you to realize it. And
yeah, when you guys revealed that to me, I was like, "Oh my God, yes!"
Yeah. And so there's this almost kind of, there's an underlying story playing out for Nitzevet where it's not just she's going through the heartbreak and blessing of her son being chosen as the next king, but now she knows the calling on his life is going to put him in harm's way, and she's a mother. And oh my gosh, Caleb, we're watching Gigi read this monologue, and if she is not just exuding, I know, Gigi, you are a mother, but man, the fierce loyalty and the sensitivity and the gentleness. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we were done with the audition, I'm on the phone with Caleb and I'm like, it's her. This is it. This is the mother of David, and she's going to bring this to life in a way that's so believable. And at the same time, thank you for what you said. We do have specific direction. One of the things that we really, really want to have is high quality, specific, detailed storytelling where you walk away feeling kind of like you do with Lord of the Rings and Peter Jackson, where you go, man, this guy had his hands on every moving part because he knew, okay, this is what we need to do to honor the story. It's all about honoring that story. And Nitzevet, although she's in the margins in the Bible, is a huge part of who David becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, I'm sorry, go ahead, Gigi.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I think as a mom, and being, we used to homeschool full time, and just having my kids around me all the time and having my fingerprints on them, and how much more that would have been for that family, just living every day together. I love the idea that she had such influence over who he became and who he becomes. And so I love that you guys have thought of that, because a lot of times mothers aren't portrayed that way. It is the father that brings strength. And man, have I learned so much about strength from my mom. So
so I just wanted to say, it's going to be interesting. So we had shared a post that the Chosen had shared out today in the group on Facebook. And so Catherine is playing the part of Mary in the Chosen currently, and will likely be going back for the fourth season as we are sure there's more to her story, right? Probably not just going to pop in for one episode and pop out. But it's kind of interesting as a filmmaker and as an artist who absolutely loves the Bible, to see these women come to life in a truly valuable way, where, when I think about the strength of my mother and what she did to provide for me throughout my life, and to meet the gaps and to sort of usher me into the way of knowing Jesus. And like, there's this tenderness that I have for my mom. I grew up with a lot of brothers, which set us up for David pretty well, I think. But when I think about these characters coming to life, and your two characters specifically are going to be pretty tight. I think they're going to have a very unique relationship, just based off of where we see these two characters going over these 8 episodes. What's it like to bring these characters to life? What's it like to, we have some lines from the Bible, not much, but then you're kind of, you're reaching into something to present these characters. I want to hear a little bit from you both about that.
Well, I think that you guys have already done such a great job providing this world to live in. The world to live in, just to say, like, they're all so tight knit, and even my daughter-in-law would be one of my children, and my one of my great friends that I do work with and that I teach her how to bake and all the things, and so I think just having the writing already there, and then knowing how it is in my own life to live with children and in-laws and all of those things, and then kind of weaving that into, I think of stories kind of like Parenthood or something like that, that's a story of, or This Is Us, where it's all families and the way that they interact together. And I think that this will be in some way showing how these family members all, all their stories intertwine, and how their hearts intertwine. So
for better and worse. I mean, there's a lot of better and there's a lot of worse. And that's something I'm so excited. It can feel sometimes like whenever we see some elements of the Bible or even some faith-based stories get brought to life, that it just shines a light always on the good of sort of Christian families or believing families. And it can tell a one-sided story that can actually shame us as believers, where we feel like, man, my family isn't that joyful. And it's like, yeah, no one's is. That's a movie, like there's dark times, there's some really dark things that happen. Catherine, did you have something that you wanted to add to that? Oh, Caleb, we don't have sound. 1 second, Catherine.
Oh,
sorry.
No problem.
There you are.
There you are.
Hey, okay. I was just saying, I think advantage in that we already have studied so much of God's word, and it's inspiring, it's life-giving to us. And so I think when we're getting to prepare roles like True, obviously, because now we're using the talents and the gifting that we've been given to tell us that we know will influence people positively the same way it's influenced us. And so huge cheat sheet, like we have the Spark Notes already. We know the Bible. We know, and I know that's going to be a lifelong journey for all of us, to just keep getting closer to the word and understanding it. And that having that as a resource has been phenomenal. And just, like, we have the full guide, and it's not just the full guide to our acting or our script or our story, to life. So just to get to depth in there for your, because you need it for your personal life too. So
absolutely. I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler because we have 14 people watching, and the people that are here early deserve some of this good content. One of the beautiful things about having Gigi and Catherine on, Nitzebet and Eva, who plays Eliab's wife, is that Eva actually ends up as Nitzebet's caretaker. And there are some moments where we flash forward. Eva is not Nitzebet's biological daughter, but in a way ends up being very much similar to, kind of, if you've seen the story of Boaz and that kind of play out, where there's a situation where Eva and Nitzebet end up together, and this relationship is very special. Even though Eva is kind of an outcast, she's not from the same tribe of Judah as everyone else is, and Eliab knows that that's going to bother his parents, and so there's a little bit of a rift early on bringing Eva in, but then they find that she's extremely devoted, that she's a very strong personality, and she joins the family immediately in some really cool ways. But knowing that you two are going to kind of end up together later, what is that? Thinking through that process. Of course, there are going to be more actresses on set, But knowing that you two are going to be doing some flash forwards as well, is that kind of exciting?
So exciting.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I didn't know how we were going to start exciting. I just love that storyline. And I like, it's easy to have this, like the crazy mother-in-law or like the crazy daughter, and so I think unique and just heart to heart loving kind of way to approach an age. I think that connection is going to be really beautiful. I remember learning about that, reading the story of Naomi. Naomi is trying to help Ruth on and be like, look,
Yeah.
Like leave me. I have nothing to offer you now. And Ruth just bonded with her and just really, this reminds me of that scripture that's like, right? Like, what does Ruth have to go back to? She doesn't have up now. And so she is very aligned spiritually, emotionally with Ilk and her advice and who she is as a person. She's now a mentor. And I think beautiful to be able to tell a story like that and to show this growth and like the feeling of to a family and being truly welcomed and being of service and feeling valued is just so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And, there's a little bit of intrigue and fear as well, because Saul is having Nitzevet watched at this point because he's looking for David. He wants to kill David. And he thinks likely one of the places that David might go back to is to his mother because he knows the relationship is strong. Nitzevet has warned him to never come back to her because she knows that that's could ultimately mean his death. And she's made the great sacrifice of a mother, which is she's broken ties with the son that she loves, knowing that it's in his best interest to never come back. And there's a really, really amazing scene that my brother and I are writing where essentially Eva and Nitzevet kind of get to do a little smack talk to some of the King's Guard. And, they come to check on her every once in a while, which is really exciting. They come to check on her every once in a while. Have you seen him? Do you know where he is? Have you heard from him? And Nitzevet gets to be bold. And you realize, oh, there's more than one warrior in this family. And it's a really cool scene.
I love that.
It really, for some reason, always strikes me very as like Charlize Theron in my head because of some of the roles that she plays. And so it's kind of inspired by a lot of the characters that she plays. But Nitzevet is not one to be joked around with, even in her old age. She's not playing games, and Eva is right there at her side. And so it's a fun dynamic that we're really excited. All we have to do is go to Give Butter, give that donation, right? Can we get an update on Give Butter real quick?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. I'll give a little refresher and we'll take a glance. It looked like 32 minutes ago, we got a donation from Miriam Elizabeth. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much. We're up $25 on the night, which is not bad. If you're here and you want to support this content, please head over. April, thank you so much. We're definitely going to have you on payroll as soon as there is one. If you click that link right there that April has in the chat, you can go there and feel free to donate. We've just rolled out the new incentives program. You can see at the bottom of the page. So make sure to read all the way down on that content to find out what you're entering into if you give at a certain level. But real quick, Gigi, just kind of to kind of go back to your character and to say a couple things here. Knowing that your character arc is one of leading up to you losing your son, have you been thinking emotionally about how you want to play that out as an actress? Is that something that you're processing through right now? Just kind of talk to us maybe a little bit about some of your process as an actress.
Yeah, I think when I think about that, it makes me want to cry.
Good.
Because the strength of a mother is a lot of times like letting go and allowing your strength to infuse into your children. and
Sure.
to give them strength, right?
Yeah.
So I think even though she maybe wants to let it all just pour out of her of emotion of this grief, I think she keeps a lot of it in because
Yeah.
she doesn't want that to affect who he is and who he becomes. So
Right.
she remains strong
Right.
a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm so excited to get to really get all of the scripts and pick them all apart. And even the stuff that you said that you're writing now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
fun, all the different scenes that you guys are crafting together. So each
Yeah.
one that I get new little tidbits of, I start thinking more and more of the things. And I also love all of the musical elements that you guys, like Leilani, when I heard her voice, I'm like, they get it. I mean,
Yeah.
this family that is musical and just they're putting all these pieces in that some people would just kind of think, oh yeah, David's the guy. He's the one with the harp.
Yeah.
So, but I love that you've woven all of these pieces together. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't want to tell a tale outside of school, but even the prophet Samuel might have some singing that he does.
oh.
I've been watching Steve Sherman's social media, and I didn't know, but we have quite the virtuoso over there. So very exciting. Another element, kind of, again, we're early on, and so some of this fun stuff can kind of come out. One of the real moments where Nitzevet's heart is won over to Eva specifically is, let's just say Iliab kind of makes a fool of himself in episode 2 in a big way, embarrasses himself in front of the family. And Eva, rather than shaming him, goes with him, which shows a lot about her character, back to the tent. And Nitzevet gets to watch as Eva and Iliab have a full-blown marital, which is so exciting. I can't wait. One of my joys, because I've been married for 11 years, I'm so sick of fake Christian fights. Like, I'm ready to write a marital to take place. And Eva and Iliab get to really say some hard personal things. And Nitzevet gets to watch as Eva does not back down. She gets
a girl
in
after my own heart.
Yes. And
Iliab's quite the bull. He's definitely a bull and a warrior,
and she is the matador. So
yeah,
she is not afraid to engage because she knows in his heart that he's angry, but he's not violent. She knows that he's arrogant, but it's out of insecurity.
Speaking of the wedding marital, we you said you watched the short film, so it was quite funny working with our younger actors, not married yet, either of them. But we're saying, okay, you guys are gonna have a marriage argument, and we're telling the actress,
like, what?
And we're telling the actress, we want to see your teeth when you're yelling at him, and she's like, my teeth, and we're like, trust me, you're gonna use your teeth.
The teeth come out.
What are you? And it's gonna feel kind of weird, but trust me, it comes across exactly how a marriage argument.
Go watch the short film, and you'll see Sarah Albazali show the teeth. She goes there. She does great.
Yeah.
So
the level of rage that I think just a married couple can experience with each other.
Oh yeah.
It's to witness.
Yeah. I mean, and Eva knows she's because I'm writing this world and I understand the character arcs and I understand the character motivation. Eva is from a family that has been blown up by war and violence, and she knows what it is to have a healthy family and how much you should cherish that. Iliab does not know because it's never been taken from him. He takes a lot of things for granted because he's always had it. And so there's some really cool moments in Eva where she's explaining to him, it feels like you want to leave and it feels like you want to just start your own family and get away and get out. But what I'm telling you is you already have the most valuable gift from God right here and you're blowing it. And Iliab is just like, he's just reeling and he's processing. And so some strong women, but not like in this corny way. It's in ways that I feel like are genuine and are out of a real feminine, godly spirit, which is, I mean, Eve was there to help Adam. Adam is lazy. He's apathetic. He's easily angered. He's impulsive. and Eve is there to be his helper. Eve is there to assist him along that way. And I think so. That's some of the stuff that we're keeping in mind as we're writing some of these characters. But Caleb, did you have another question for Gigi by chance?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to say congratulations. You were part of pretty huge success. You want to tell everybody a little bit about the movie you were a part of, and you guys just were nominated and won.
Oh,
movie
I
guide
thought you
award.
were congratulating me for being a part of your project, and I was like, I know.
This too.
It's amazing.
This too.
Congratulations!
This too.
Congratulations! We like to.
Yeah.
But seriously, I really am I'm just so excited to be a part of this project. Yes, Running the Bases got nominated for Faith and Family Award and won that award. And then Family Camp won for the best inspirational independent film for the Movie Guide Awards. So
Yeah,
I was
wonderful.
very proud of both of the teams. It was so fun.
You just
And
kinda
the
just-
chosen one for the Epiphany Award. So there you
That's
go.
right.
we are
Winning.
Kyler. I think let's just be honest. We are among award winners, and we.
Oh, look, there's
kidding.
Elias. Hi,
Just
Elias.
kidding. Just
He's a
kidding.
winner too.
Yeah.
What's up, Elias?
Oh my God.
So the cool thing about it is, Gigi, I feel like we've seen you in some kind of like comic characters,
Yeah.
which comical, and when I look at you, and I'm just going to be honest, when I look at you, I don't think comic relief, right? I see, as Kyler was saying, kind of like this Charlize Theron, kind of like very piercing eyes, this look, and then I see you play these characters, and I'm like, wow, she's actually going there, like, and comedy is not easy, right? Like, it's actually
Yeah.
putting you have to put aside sort of the opinions of others,
Right.
100% commit, or it's not funny. You've got to really sort of transfer that inner self of public opinion and worry, and are they gonna think this is funny, and I don't know. Like, you can't be thinking through that stuff. You got to commit to that. And I'm finding, I think, and from just different interviews I've seen with like Jim Carrey, these kinds of things, it feels like that transition to drama acting, or more serious roles, is easier for people who have done sort of comedy type of roles in the past, because you're maybe tapping into something that is a little easier, as opposed to like the stress of telling a joke or making this character believable, those kinds of things.
That's so interesting. Well, thank you. I appreciate that you actually thought I was funny. It's hard because on those sets, you're with all of these people who are known for being funny. And you're like, I hope hope I can be part of this crowd. But yeah, I really am so excited to get to have something where you do get to tap into all that deep stuff, and it's just so exciting to me to get to that you guys believed that I could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mind immediately went to the conversation at the table in episode, is it episode 1? Yeah, whenever she's at the table and she's talking to all of her teenage boys are lined up and they're eating. And she basically comes over and sits down and she starts this conversation about what they need to look for in a woman. And they're so embarrassed and they're so awkward, and it's like, oh, Mom, why are you? And it very much is a lot of the lightheartedness and a lot of the comedic timing, and she knows exactly what she's doing, but there's also this really sweet thing in her where she's trying to lead them the right direction, and they're asking questions like, how do you know whenever a woman is worth pursuing? And she's kind of feeding them little bits of advice, and then the daughters come over. And there's some back and forth about what's been said and some of the foolishness from the boys. But so there is comedy. I want it to be known that it's drama for sure. But my brother and I love comedy. We cannot help but have some of those things laced throughout. And so I think one of the surprising things really will be with the epic feel and the style and the images that we're putting out. A lot of the things can kind of feel kind of dark and mysterious and sort of intrigue. And yet so much of the script and so much of these lives playing out are just brothers talking and getting on one another's nerves and kind of trolling one another and ragging on one another. And and David wanting to look good in front of the neighbor girl and talking with Anna, his sister, about, don't compliment the teeth anymore. That's really weird. And girls don't find that, it's not a good look. And kind of referencing to some of the stuff that we see in Song of Solomon, where David's son has continued this bad habit. But definitely there's going to be comedy there, and we're really excited to put those pieces out for the audience as well.
Yeah.
Well, I want to open up for questions. We always want to make sure that we let our audience ask a couple of questions. Maybe they're interested to ask you a question, Gigi, or they want to ask about the project. I definitely want to make sure we get everybody out on time and don't take a ton of time. But it's just been such an honor to meet you both, Catherine and Gigi, and kind of just seeing some of the work that you've done, and hope that we can get this project off the ground so that we can, see these characters come to life. And we already feel like they're being breathed into just by meeting you and talking to you. It's very easy to see these characters, probably with an accent, but still you in a lot of ways, which hopefully is exciting and interesting. And we obviously will be pushing for a range of emotion, but we, like Heather said, I think we want it to be fun. We want it to be something that, families can say, wow, they're going through an unbelievable, just difficult time as all the different tribes are learning how to be united together. There's a lot of infighting, a lot of bickering, as the Old Testament Israelites are known for, just constantly walking away from God and getting pulled back. And yet there's also the war that's being waged just on the boundaries, where these enemies are literally just burning down villages. And they're where they felt God called them to be in the promised land. Yet there is all of this battle happening around them. And as a woman, as a mother of so many children, I think one of your thoughts would be, I got a lot of boys. Mm-hmm. Some of them are probably going to war. They'll probably die. Yeah. Just the fear of what's, when are they, and really the faith they would have had to have in mm-hmm. God to stay motivated in their trust of God and in their pursuit in the way that David and his family did. There's kind of that ironclad love for the Lord, mm-hmm. and led by Jesse and Nitzebet. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of stuff to think about there, and just kind of put yourself in that place of, okay, I'm in my house, but just a couple miles away, people are literally walking towards us and they want to kill us. It's a really strange, bizarre place to put yourself in. Things have changed quite a bit. So we've got a couple of questions actually that are coming through. So let's make sure we ask those questions. Where are you looking to shoot this location wise? We have a location in central Pennsylvania, sweeping hills, 500 sheep, a farmer who's ready to help us and give us the lay of the land. So we are grateful for Thistle Creek Farms of State College, Pennsylvania. Beef, cattle, and sheep. This man is unbelievable. I would love to have him on a live stream. He's like in his upper 70s, probably almost 80s. So I doubt he's able to do a live stream. I can't even get him on the phone most of the time. His hearing is going out, but man, his story is just unbelievable. He just wants to do whatever he can in his time to like glorify God. And I was telling him about the project, and he's like, get in the gator. We drove up the hill, and he's like, what do you think? He's like, he's literally, he's got his back to me, and he's like, well, we got some sheep over here. I can plant some stuff over there. What do you need? Yeah. And I was just like, man, you are awesome. So
I love that story so much.
Yeah, we're going to be hopefully filming in State College, Pennsylvania. A lot of this one out on the hillside, outside in the country, and not, it's not going to be super difficult. We will be using some special effects and blue screen type of stuff. to kind of put some cities off in the opposite direction. But you know, a lot of it is just we're sheep farming, you know, and grazing, and so that's a lot of what's going on. Oh, he's an absolutely wonderful man. I mean, meeting him, I was 28 the first time I met him, and he was like, "Can I make you a coffee?" And I was like, "Sure." Thought he was gonna make me a hot coffee. He gets this espresso machine out, and he's like, "I'm kind of known for my espresso." And I was just like, "All right, man." He's living in his great grandpa's house. He is just him and his
On the
wife
side.
are so sweet.
On the
So,
side,
yeah.
he's running Ed's barbecue, maybe.
Ed's barbecue.
We'll be
Ed-
friends.
He'll be the kid.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you guys from Colorado, you got a little southern in you, it seems like. There's a
Yeah,
little bit
I'm
of-
from
little-
Oklahoma, so I
There
got
you
I got
go.
a little farmer in me.
There we
wind-
are. Okay.
That's
The
right.
We're
winds
from
go
about 30
sweeping
minutes
down
away
the
from
plains.
Kentucky. So I maybe have missed this at the beginning. Timeline for the full on production. Great question, Brandon. We'll pull it up here. Catherine, you want to talk through this?
Okay, I think we are looking at our pilot, and that's going to probably take like a couple of weeks. So then we'll be pre-production stuff. So getting things in order. Obviously, we have our location, prepping the location. You guys would be probably the best folks to talk about how many episodes you have and how long that might.
Yeah,
Perfect,
absolutely. So we've got 7 episodes after the pilot episode. And you know, we're really as we're producing this, I think we're trying to think of, you know, keeping costs low, but also doing things in a really you know, easy, fashionable way, and trying to produce things in places that, you know, like Capernaum Studios, that already has just a magnificent set that we could go to. And so those last 7 episodes really want to get this pilot out. We want to show people what we're made of, what we can do, what this would look like. And then those last 7 episodes, we're looking at the following year trying to produce. And so, you know, for right now, we'd be going into July production on the pilot, take about 3 to 6 months, just to kind of get that shaped and in a place to kind of pitch it out, hopefully get it picked up for distribution. And then somebody would buy into the rights and help us produce the final 7 episodes.
Yep. Which had a conversation tonight. Gigi, you weren't here for it. I was just on the phone with somebody that really loves what we're doing and was saying that they're very excited about the idea of partnering with us. And so
exciting.
those conversations are starting to happen. And we're very excited about what this looks like moving forward and the idea of this wonderful family. And we haven't had Leilani on yet, but man, how cool to be able to start to really see the cast come together and the family come together and some of the actors and actresses that are really going to be building out these characters that it feels like Caleb and I already know so well. It's a really wonderful experience writing these stories because you start to hear the voices. And then I've seen people talk about even with The Chosen, and you think you know, and then whenever you start to see them acting the parts out and the actors and the actresses really bring it to life in their own styles and ways, that adds a whole other layer to this, which is it's going to be so wonderful. And I think people are going to walk away really feeling lifted up. And I hope we can tell a story where when people are in their Bible and they're reading the story, they can't help but seeing our characters. I think that would be so fun to be able to tell the story in a way where they go, man, I know exactly. That's probably whenever Nitzevet was over here and kind of like placing that in their heads. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. One of my friends was like, so you're playing David's mom. Do you have lines? Because I don't remember her from the Bible. And I'm like, don't worry, we got it. They're going to make stuff up.
Do you have lines? Do you ever? I mean, we give Jesse his honor too, but man, there's something so fun about bringing some of these characters where you can write in the margins and you can have a little bit of fun and but also you kind of it's a way of honoring the mothers that are Christians and the mothers that understand what this is like. You know, we get to tell the story where moms are great desires that moms all over would go, man, I know what that's like. I've
Oh,
felt
yeah.
that before, you know. And so
Yeah.
realistic characters, though, boy, is that important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in. We're at an hour and 20. Really, thank you guys so much for the time. We have
Oh,
some.
Tim has
Oh,
one.
go ahead.
He said he wants a snippet of our accents that we've been working on.
Oh, do we want to? Do we want to roll up the accents?
Tim, you
I
have
don't
to wait. You have to watch.
I'll do the accent
Yeah,
if,
Tim,
if that means
Tyler, do
anything.
it.
I'm not going to be in the
We've
film,
worked a
and I
little
don't
bit
have the right
together.
skin
We
color,
have.
but I'll go for it. I'll try.
Kyler breaks out the accents like a pro. Catherine's been in some of our auditions. You got to
Mhm.
go for it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
mostly
Yeah.
in words like, and mostly it's in words like water. We don't say water.
Yes,
Water.
that's right.
Water.
Water.
You got to
Water.
you got to roll that R. Tortilla. Right? It's
Yeah.
you gotta
Don't
you
open
gotta
your
keep
mouth.
up.
Yeah. Keep it real
Yeah.
restrained. Like
Mm.
they just keep it very simple. It's not like a very big, you know. We're working on
Yes.
it, Tim. We hope we have something good for you.
I tell you what, Tim, you want to see more than that? We'll set up an event. We'll do some tickets. We'll
$500
we'll
live table
dri-
read.
drive this in. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to end this, though. Seriously, is to look back at just the page, kind of, make sure that folks know where to go if they're looking to give. Gigi, we're so grateful to have you on this project. We know that you're going to bring this to life in such a beautiful way, and
Thank you.
I think that people are just going to be able to connect to you in a sweet, warm, wonderful way. And I also know it's going to give you the chance to flex on some chops and really present some of these skills I know that you've been working on and dreaming for. And so that's really fun too, just giving an opportunity for somebody to kind of grow into a new pond a little bit.
That might be
kind
my
of
favorite part of this. I love it. I love watching people that they're Titans and they get that shot and it comes to
Thanks,
comes
guys.
to life.
So we're just going to kind of look back at the page here. So as you see, we have at the very top of the page, we got a little bit of a video. You can kind of see we have 41 supporters, 3,470 given. We have that $300,000 goal. We really believe we're going to get there. We've got 3 weeks left of the crowdfunding campaign. And, we're really going to start to try and pump this out, trying to get it out to as many people as possible. Right now, our group on Facebook has almost 900 people. And so we're coming up on 1,000 in just a couple of weeks. And we're very, very excited for the community that we're growing. And we want to encourage you guys, be chatting in the community group, letting us know what you're thinking. Maybe you're reading the Bible and there's different parts that stick out to you and you want to send that to us. And I think we're going to try and do some chat rooms coming up soon as well in that group. And so stay tuned on that. I'll be giving some more information. But yeah, if you have somebody that's interested in understanding what we're going to try and accomplish, we got the story here, some important notes on where we're at, tell you a little bit about what our project is going to look and feel like, what we're going for. And then, of course, we've got about us, kind of our story, so you can get to know Kyler and I, what we're trying to accomplish and do. And really what we want to be producing in July. And so outside of that, the fundraising rewards, as we mentioned, go check those out. It's on our website and it's here on the Give Butter link that we will be sending out. Thank you again, April, for posting that over and over. We really appreciate that.
Stephen,
So
yes,
this has been a wonderful.
the prizes are cumulative. So if you give at the $1,000 amount, you receive all of the prizes previously leading into it as well. And someone else asked, are we keeping track if somebody gives multiple $100 gifts? We currently do not, but everything is listed in Give Butter. And so there's no reason
we will definitely.
There's no reason why we can't go back through and make sure that the people that have given at a certain level receive those rewards. Like we said,
Absolutely.
We want to be generous. We want to find every way we can to be generous. And so we're not looking in any way to slide anyone. Just want to make that clear. We're excited to be generous. Absolutely, Stephen.
Good question. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, Caleb, Signing off. It's been good. What a fun project this has been, Catherine, Gigi. It is going to be wonderful having you all with us, bringing this to reality. I can't wait until you're winning awards for this project. Someone mentioned that. I hope it's the case. I
Sounds
hope
great.
that happens and we get to see that day. And until then, let's all be praying and hoping that Jesus finds a way for us to move this forward. Tell your friends, tell your family if you're excited about this happening. And we'll talk to you all soon.